I definitely got ripped off. What's up guys, Jason here, aspiring entrepreneur, and in this video we are going to talk about 3 Fiverr gigs you should avoid like the plague. And this is going to be really important because number one, it's going to save you a lot of time and money because you're not going to be wasting your hard-earned cash on gigs that aren't actually going to help grow your business. And then number two, you are actually going to help grow your business even faster because some of these gigs will actually hurt your chances of success. So let's go ahead and dive in. We'll kick things off with number 3, and that is Fiverr's Pro Gig feature. Look, I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time on this, but long story short, for some reason, Fiverr's decided that they really want to get into the premium market of freelancing services. So now you're going to start to see a lot of gigs that are in the high hundreds, if not thousands. I've seen gigs as high as $4,000 now. Look, when you're just getting started, you don't need any of that. And if you have that kind of money, you should be looking at other platforms to hire professionals where you're actually going through an interview process. Look, if you're going to hire someone for $4,000 to, create your brand identity or pay $1,000 for a logo, you should probably go through a couple of interviews to find the right kind of person, to find the right fit, as opposed to just picking some random Fiverr gig and giving Fiverr $4,000. So stick to the lower price gigs because the difference in what you're going to get, especially when you're just starting out, isn't that big. And that leads us into number 2, the second type of gig that you should avoid like the plague, and that is the SEO services. Unless you're already an SEO expert, you should really avoid these style of gigs. And here's why. Most of these gigs are actually going to hurt your search engine ranking, not help. And this is why, because a lot of those gigs are actually just using robots or spamming your links. So when you go to Fiverr and you find those gigs that are offering you, X number of links, or offering to, promote your website or drive traffic to your website, really what they're doing is they're using a piece of software to just send a bunch of robots to your website, or they're going on other people's blogs and just spamming your link all over the place, and both things Google does not like. When Google sees that odd spike in traffic, it's actually going to hurt your website ranking and your domain authority, and you might even get blacklisted by Google depending on some of the services that you purchase on Fiverr. And I've read some horror stories. It's really, really nasty stuff. And on the topic of traffic, that brings us to number 1, the type of gig that you should absolutely avoid, and that is all of this social promotion stuff. Similar to the SEO problems, with all of the social promotion gigs, there's one of 2 things happening. Number 1 is the Twitter promotions or the Facebook promotions or the Instagram promotions. Some of them, the Instagram promotions actually work pretty well. But specifically with the Facebook and Twitter ones, essentially what they do is they go out and they get a bunch of followers, or they get a bunch of unengaged, untargeted followers. Then they say, hey, pay me $5 or $10 and I'll blast your website or video out to 500,000 people. Well, the problem with that is those followers aren't engaged and they're not targeted. So not only are you paying to be blasted out to a bunch of people who probably could care less about whatever you're selling or whatever you're promoting, you're also paying to be sent to a lot of accounts that are just fake and don't respond to anything anyway. And that leads us into the second trap, and that has to do with Facebook and the group promotions. Long story short, there are a lot of gigs that will say, hey, we'll take your Kindle book and we'll promote it to a bunch of Kindle readers. What they wind up doing is they'll take your Amazon link and then they'll just spam it across a bunch of groups that are full of Kindle readers. The only issue with that is most of those types of Facebook groups are only made up of people who do that service. Essentially, there's no actual real people left in those groups anymore because the real people got tired of the promotions all over the place. And now if someone does see it, they see your book or your product or service being promoted from an account that pretty much just constantly pumps out promotions. And that's actually going to hurt your brand and hurt your long-term success of growing your audience. So that does it for the 3 types of gigs that you should avoid like the plague when it comes to Fiverr. Let me know in the comment section below if you ever purchased a Fiverr gig and not been happy with it. I'm really curious to see what I missed, or if you've purchased one of these gigs and actually been really happy with it. So make sure to hit that like button if you got some value out of this and you think it will save you some hard-earned cash from not wasting money on one of these gigs. And then make sure to subscribe, because over on the channel, I'm going from A to Z and everything in between, building a digital business from scratch. We've got a great community of aspiring entrepreneurs. I encourage you to come and join us over there. So until the next video, keep building the business you love. Take care.